What's up, gamers? K Mega 405 coming to you live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Be so kind to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and share this out after you check this out, man. And let me know what you think in the comment section. I really do appreciate all the support and the love that I've been getting here lately, man. It's definitely appreciated, no doubt about it. Um, but also, if you want to check me out on Twitch, KMega405, on Twitter at KMega4, and also there's a GRG underscore podcast. You can go check that out on Twitter as well. Go follow all that stuff, man. Go check us out, man. No doubt about it. But thank you. But let's get right into it. Right here, as you can see, on this side, right, this big dude right here, this big bastard. Name is Hyperius, I believe, and I think that's how you say it. This guy right here, I got a lot of attention. A lot of people in the DMs, a lot of people hit me up yesterday about this. I was planning on having a video already up, but I wanted to get more information, look at some stuff, and of course, I talk about Halo. I'm a big Halo fan. Not as a person that would go as far as I read every book, every comic. I'm not on that level, but I do read. I've read a couple of books. I definitely go deep into the lore, watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, things like that. I'm a big Halo fan. And so with that being said, if people who follow the channel knows, I'm a huge Locke fan. I'm a major Locke fan. I think the introduction of Team Osiris was just absolutely fantastic. As a person of color, I just thought like this a stern, powerful black man that is no nonsense. He's not just an over crazy, overbearing character. He's not funny. He's not something that's normal that we've seen for many years. He's not a Cole. He's not a Barrett. He is Locke, and he's no nonsense. He's straight to the point. He's a leader, and I love that character. I love everything about Jameson Locke. And so therefore, of course, there's people out there that don't like Locke. There's some people that are intimidated by him because they feel that they were trying to replace him over Chief. Blah blah blah. I've had a video talk about it. I had a lot of hate coming from that side of the community, but really don't care. I speak my mind. The point of the matter is that there was some people that was trying to throw this at me as shade. There was other people that was just wanting to get my thoughts about it from what I've seen, and I've seen this before with the Mega Blocks. And look, if this is the thing to me, it was like, if this is what's going to happen, I'm going to be highly disappointed. But then now looking at the concept art, and then just going up and just thinking about it, looking into it more, I don't think Locke is going to die. I really don't. I think this is one of those things. It's kind of like a redemption story, because there were so many people that were dogging Halo 5, and look, Microsoft made, I should say Microsoft, but Xbox made so many blunders at that point in time. The messaging was wrong. And so right from the very beginning, like for people who was deep into the lore, I'm not going to butcher that elite's name, but his name is Jaw something. I will not try to say it, but he's a really powerful elite. And then when Locke comes in the very beginning of Halo 5, which was an awesome intro, but they come in there in the very beginning, they just dissect him like nothing, and so that pissed people off. Then of course the other part about it is that people had the impression that Locke was going to hunt Master Chief, and then maybe he was going to be like a new villain, or there was going to be this big battle between Team Osiris and Blue Team, and it just didn't happen that way. I mean, the game itself, for the story, there's going to be people that don't like it. I thought the story was really cool. It was all over the place because you didn't get a full background about Team Osiris or about Jameson Locke. You just know that you've seen if you played if you had the Master Chief collection, and then you could go into the Halo. There was a little Halo thing. I forget what the thing was called right now, but it's shut down now. But you could go and see where it was kind of trying to give him his origin story, which it was a cool little story, but it just didn't do enough to tell exactly what it was. You just know that he was a part of Oni. Then all of a sudden he jumps into Halo 5. He goes after Chief, and then he's a Spartan. So and he's a part of Oni. So it's just not enough detail between them or about even, you know more about Buck than you did about Vale or Tanaka. So I got that aspect of it. But I thought, like, for when you look at Halo 5 story, I put that in the middle end of all the Halo stories. I put up Halo 2, Halo 4, uh, uh, Reach are my favorite Halos. Of course, Halo 1 was good, but I love Halo for it bringing me into the shooter genre and then just the whole aspect of that. But like my least favorite is Halo 3. Halo 3 and ODST are my least favorite stories. Um, but with that with being said, and then of course Halo Wars 1 and 2, they're up there as well. So Halo 5 is in between Halo 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 Wars 2, and it's behind that in before Halo Wars 1. So I know there might be people that will give me that. And matter of fact, you can give me your top 10 in the comment section, because like this is the thing. Not everybody has to agree with everything, but it's one of those things. I think it's important that there shouldn't be characters that are just newly introduced to be killed off. And also, just because that there's some people that might be intimidated by some other characters, like Palmer, for instance, get a lot of hate because she stood up to Chief, and that's the sign of a strong woman. I don't have a problem with that. There's people that do, and there was people that I used to read those blogs, and they used to want her to be gone and stuff like that, and it was just really crazy, right? So, but the one thing about it, and I've had this great discussion, and I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm not gonna even try to take it and try to take it from somebody, because I was talking to somebody named Terminus, and we have discussions. I have discussions with quite a few people about Halo, just to picking each other's brain about it, seeing where Halo Infinite is going to go. And this was the one thing that I've always said, but he said it so articulate, so I'm just going to read this part. He said, Halo is a universe. Halo is not Master Chief. Master Chief was supposed to be a vessel to tell the subsector of the ever-expanding universe. There's room for opportunity for countless amounts of vessels. And even if the vessel for now is primarily Chief, with Infinite for the next 10 years, I don't see them only having us play Chief for 10 years. Like I said, this opportunity for such for so much Gears Hive kinds of stories for Infinite is something that they can go for, and I totally agree, because we've had this conversation. I've had this conversation that the universe is bigger than any person. It's bigger than Locke. It's bigger than Blue Team. It's bigger than the Spirit of Fire. It's bigger than the Red Team. It's bigger than anything else. It's bigger than the Covenant. It's bigger than anything. And I have seen people that say if Chief is gone, then Halo is, and that is the wrong idea. And this is where I feel that where 343 can actually now take away, get the Bungie aspect away from it. And I know there might be people that will disagree with me or tell me that this is what made Halo was the Bungie aspect of it. But see, let me just make this point right here. This big guy behind me is not a Bungie guy. This is a 343 guy. They made these characters. The Banish is 343 made these characters, and that's the thing to me, is where the separation of where 343 can finally get out of the shadow of Bungie if they make these villains or antagonists. Because if you really kind of look at how Atriox was introduced in Halo Wars 2, in which there's a lot of people that has not played Halo Wars 2 because it's an RTS game, and those are type of niche type of games. The problem is that some people will just look at these guys as just brutes. So what they have to do, in my opinion, is expand on the reach of the Banish, to let people know how effective the Banish is, how powerful, how strong, how, like, Atriox should be the Thanos, the dark side of the Halo universe. So I would hope that Halo would be a little bit darker. Not Gears dark, don't get me wrong. Gears world is insane, but a little bit darker. The Covenant has always been something that's they've been a problem, like, but but they still, the Spartans can just kind of roll through them. Chief has just kind of rolled through them, until he met the Didact. The Didact was the one problem that he had in Halo 4. That was the thing to me where I loved the story in Halo 4 because they made Chief more human. They gave him more of a personality. They gave the connection between him and Cortana was absolutely fabulous, and that's why it's one of my favorite. It's in my top two of the Halo stories. And so this is what I'm hoping that 343 can do on bringing that same aspect of Chief from what they did in 4 and have him be pretty much overwhelmed by enemy that he's never faced and maybe have that same outlook like maybe gamers who hasn't played Halo Wars 2 would get by saying, oh, it's just another brute, and then realize, oh, this dude just killed a Spartan. Well, let's not hope that. I don't think that Locke is dead. But oh, this dude just beat the hell out of Spartan Locke, which is a badass. Oh, these guys are not only promoting elites from the Covenant and Covenant warriors, they're also recruiting humans. That will change the whole game. That will make Halo Infinite one of the best games we've ever played in the Halo franchise, and also give us an antagonist that could be up there as one of the best that we've ever had in not only in Halo, but maybe up there as some of the best in gaming. Period. Like if you go and think of certain antagonists, like you think about the guy from Fallout 3, you think about why I had it on. I just was at the tip of my tongue and it just lost me. The Wild Hunt, for instance. If you beat Witcher 3, those were serious dudes. Like his clique was insane. And then just there's so many other antagonists out there too. And also in the chats, let me in the comment section, let me know about some other antagonists that you like. Because I mean, there's so many, but there's some that just stands out more than others. And that to me is what's important within this game. It's not so much about Chief, but it's about everything around Chief. Like we don't know what's going on around Cortana and what she's doing. We know that she went in there, she started taking over stuff. We even heard at the end of Halo 5, if you've not played Halo 5, I mean the game has been out for almost 6 years, so is that they were there were human forces that were joining up with Cortana and the Forerunners. So there could be, if they add this human element to it, to where Chief is not only have to fight Cortana, the Banish, but also human characters, and then this war is so much almost look like it's been won. But who won it? Did the Banish is come up to take claim, and Cortana's already won, or what has happened? And then, of course, with the situations that's happened between Halo 2, at the end of Halo 2, then you have the situation where the Guardian met up with the scientist that was on the Spirit of Fire ship, and so much. And then, of course, there's Isabel, which is the AI that was in Halo Wars 2. Which that's the thing to me is where it makes it so amazing, because once you played Halo Wars 2 and then seen how powerful Atriox was. These Chief is going to go up with these against the lieutenants. I mean, Hyperius is could be the main focal point for Team Osiris. Then you look at Isharam, that is the main bad guy in Halo Infinite right now at this point. So what do you have is a crazy scenario where Chief could be in the fight of his life, and if he gets defeated, and since this is supposed to be an expanded story, like it's going as far as what Destiny is doing, then it only just leads for more Spartans and then just all this chaos going on, and Chief just can't do it by himself. That's the biggest fear for me, is when people talk about the Halo 3 aspect. We need to bring it back with that. And some people talking more about the multiplayer aspect of it. But Chief can't just be a tank running through everything. If they do that, then they'll fail on making the Banish one of the best antagonists that we've ever seen in the Halo universe. You'll make it just like the Covenant. And that to me is where the problem is. When you had Chief in vulnerable positions where he's able to get his ass beat, like you've seen the situation where Didac had him by the throat. This whole Chiefed up, like, bro, who do you think you are? And so That's to me is where this is all set up, and then of course with the Locke situation, they could bring a backstory with Locke with DLC, or within the pact if Locke, with Locke and because we did find out that Tanaka, I don't have the actress's name on me. I should have had that, but she is going to be coming back. Don't know about the character who plays as Buck because I've also heard that there could be rumors that there's a replacement for Buck. I don't know if his schedule is because he's got a job, he's got other jobs that he's doing, things like that. But it would be great if Buck would come back, and then it would be cool if they're all separated because we don't even know what happened with Blue Team because Blue Team was with Chief at the time too, and Chief is by himself. So what happened to Blue Team? And these are all the situations between Halo 5 and Halo Wars 2 sets off for a fantastic start to a game that is supposed to be going as far as for the next 10 years, having so much story and so much more, as my boy Terminus said, it's vessels that they can start telling side stories. There's rumors of the Shadow Team coming, a Team Taurus. Red Team is definitely going to be coming back. So it makes perfect sense. We don't know if they're going to be adding other stories about what's happening with Oni. So that's what it could be, a new outfit that Locke is going to be getting, and then he gets his redemption. They can tell backstories for Locke and all of that to get rid of a character that I looked at as a very strong, powerful character that should have his own lane, should have his own game. Personally, well, Team Osiris should have their own game. Blue Team, Red Team already they pretty much had their own games with Halo Wars, but then you have all these other entities there that that are possible, and then of course if there's humans that's going to be involved, that's going to be working with the Banish or working with Cortana, then it's crazy. And then of course they're going back to Reach, so most likely they're going to be looking for Dr. Hawes. Maybe Dr. Halsey has another AI or another version of Cortana, and then there's the Sparks. There's all different types of things. Like that's the thing to me is that Halo 5 story wasn't bad. How I look at Halo 5 and how some people might look at it, as I said this before, is that maybe it is the Tokyo Drift of the Halo universe, or the Tokyo Drift of Fast and the Furious. It's one of those movies that you like, sorry, but then when you tie it in afterwards and then see, oh, how important Tokyo Drift was to the rest of the Fast and the Furious story, then it's like, okay, it makes sense. I like that. So I just don't want them to erase um, a really cool team, and especially a team of color, just because of a small fan base that just don't want that just only want Chief to be the main focus. It's time for 343 to step out of that Bungie shadow and start making their own stuff. And right here, which you see this big bastard right here, this is the proper way to do it. All right, so let's look at this. Let's look at this armor, man. This stuff is crazy, man. Let's pull this up a little bit. Let's get a little closer. All right, so as you can see around his neck, he has fingers. Now look, there's some gray right there. That's ridiculous. But there's some green right here too. So I don't know what the hell is that going on there. Um, but obviously he's about killing Spartans. Of course, like I said, that's the chest plate right there on his on that's wrapped around where that's Locke's helmet. So yeah, it doesn't look good for my boy. But I do think that it's one of those things where it's just too obvious for where people are already assuming that he's going to be dead. Um and I tell you this, I will say this: if they do kill off Locke and don't bring in another person of color to represent him, I'm gonna be pissed because then it gets to me is where it's like you got a strong black protagonist. You have a team. You have a team of people that are diverse, and you're gonna kill you're gonna kill the leader of that team off. It just don't make any sense to me. That would be that would be ridiculous. And also, my last point to this, right, is so think about this for a second. Um, people think that it's all about just be all about one character. Just go back and look at every big movie or show that has tons of protagonists. It's or it's just like, okay, like the main people are like Captain Picard. Like, let's think of Star Trek, right? You got Captain Picard, you have Worf, you got Geordi, you got Data. But there's other people that like those other characters more than they like Picard. Or just like you go back and look at people like Spock more than they like Captain Kirk. Or just so many other things. Like when you look at Captain Janeway, you had Six of Nine, and then you've had in Deep Space Nine, you got Captain Cisco, you got Dax, you got Quark, and then the villains, of course, you got the Dominion, you got the Romulans, the Vulcans, you got so many other stuff that was going on, which the Romulans was good, bad, evil, so the Vulcans, I think, were good, whatever. But you had the Dominion, the Borg, you got the I forgot what those dudes were with the gray skin. I can't think of them. So I haven't seen Deep Space Nine so long, but that was one of my favorite Star Treks. But then of course you look at Star Wars, and then they have Han Solo. There's a lot of people that liked Han Solo more than they liked Luke Skywalker, and people liked, of course, Darth Vader. They liked Princess Leia. There was just so many, Chewbacca, and all the rest of them, right? So why is it that Halo has to be just stuck right there with one protagonist or two protagonists, Chief and Cortana? It needs to go beyond that. Hell, even Mario is got, even Nintendo's got, through Mario games, you got a Kirby game, you got a Donkey Kong game, you got an Ice Climber game, you got all different types of different. Was Ice Climber? Yeah, no, Ice Climber wasn't in Mario, but there was there's Kirby, there's Donkey Kong, there's I know there's more. There's Koopa. He had his own game. Luigi. So, and I don't even think Princess Toadstool even had her own game. So, of course, if they can do that, and of course, Mario is one of those games that's just like, it just goes on forever. This is supposed to be more serious, this universe. Then it's time to expand this universe. And I hope 343's got the recipe right. But to me, to make this all work, it has to go by these big bastards right here. And with Escharum and with Hyperius and with Atriox being the more powerful out of all these guys, and they're already giving other Spartans trouble. I think that they could knock it out the park and make Halo bigger and better than what it's ever been, in my opinion. So I like to hear your thoughts about it. I know I went a little long on it, but but for me, like I said, I think Locke is okay. I think he's gonna live through this, and I think what they're gonna do is do a backstory, something that they should have done a long time ago. Something that they should have done, probably in my case, when they put Chief on cryo sleep, they should have been building on other characters within the game, so within the universe, and then that way bring Chief back here now. That would have been perfect. Because if Halo 5, or at the time, or the game should have been just Guardians, and then it gave the backstory about Spartan Locke and them, about Team Osiris, I think a lot of people would have gravitated to the game a lot more. Of course, gave more story about the Arbiter, what was going on with that on Solidios and all that, and then just everything else, just with Palmer, with the stuff, and even have a game with the Spirit of Fire that wasn't an RTS, and just having things like, just build all these other entities up. They have the opportunity to do it now. But like I said, man, thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate it. Subscribe, hit that like button, do all that. And I can't wait to hear your comments, man. Do that. So everybody have a good one. Peace. We out.